skies with the future holds with my palms high, left in my hands and make it alright like woo. Yeah, never let it know your dreams. Put it into a dark regime, transform the score machine. I ain't had no pot to piss and now I'm frying competition. Burn my way to top position, scared of heat, fuck out the kitchen. Let him cook. Let me cook. Let him cook. Let me cook. Let him cook. Let me cook. Let him cook. I'm frying competition.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Happy Friday.
Yes, sir, man. It's been a fun week. It's been a good week for wrestling.
Oh, definitely an interesting week, for sure.
How's everybody doing?
Good, brother. Good.
It's great. Thank you for having me. You know, sometimes you gotta pop out and show people.
Yeah, you do.
Look, if you don't show your face, you got to show your eyeball, right, Corey?
I know we gotta get Corey's little avatar.
Yeah, right. Hey, I'm good with the eyeball. It makes me focus.
Makes you pay attention more.
Right.
Hey, so I'm glad we got you on the show too, Corey, because me and Derek kind of covered a couple topics when it came down to Pancakes and Powerbombs Monday night. But I want to get y'all's opinion, man. We're going to start it off. WWE announced that Indianapolis is set to host 3 of the PLEs in 2025, beginning with the Royal Rumble on February 1st. What are y'all's thoughts?
Well,
Trevor,
to me, one of the
Trev.
things that I noticed, the first thing was the Royal Rumble's not in January.
Go ahead, Trev. Go ahead.
Well, kind of going off Manic, like he said, that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, I've always known that to be a January thing, but to now be pushing on Super Bowl territory, that's a little. I don't see it as a bad thing. I pick it as interesting because, like, let's be real, the Pro Bowl's kind of dead because everybody that you want to see is not really playing as hard. They don't want to get hurt, and then the people in the Super Bowl ain't even getting a shot at the Pro Bowl anymore. So, like, I like it. It's a little freshen up. I mean, now what are you going to throw in between December and January and February now? Like, what PLE you going to throw in there to kind of bridge that gap? So, that I like it.
Well, I don't know, because they announced earlier this week, too, that October, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's October, they're bringing back Bad Blood pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. So maybe it kind of just shifts everything.
Okay. But
so when you get January,
if you're shifting everything, I'm hoping that means you're shifting, like, because I'm not gonna lie, I don't want all them to change. I mean, you started moving WrestleMania back as it is from March to April to almost damn near May now. And
yeah.
I'm sorry. The only pay-per-view I don't want moved is Survivor Series. I'm sorry. That has to stay.
No, that'll always stay the last week of November for Thanksgiving.
I'm sorry. That just screams rivalry week with college football, regular football, everything. I'm sorry. That's deep.
Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that Indianapolis is getting some love, and
I do
WWE's showing their flowers. I think they deserve it. They're a great city. I've been to a couple of events living in Evansville, Indiana, which is just a few hours away from Indianapolis. So, but at the same time, touching on Indianapolis and to bring up a topic that we were talking about Monday that we wanted to keep an eye out on, just to let everybody know that didn't make themselves aware. The reason why Pat McAfee was not on the show is he had a family issue and a family member had passed away. So everybody keep Pat McAfee and his family in your thoughts and prayers.
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about we had questioned it because, I mean, next morning, as soon as I woke up, bro, I seen the news, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, it makes sense. You know, like, I'm glad we didn't read too far into it, but at the same time, it's one of those, yeah, that was, I'm glad to see you know, everything is not what it was. We thought it was.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. McAfee actually said that he actually came out with, I don't know if it was a reel or something on his YouTube, but I saw it as a reel, and it said that as soon as the show was over on Monday,
It was on the show.
Yeah, he didn't make it to the car, and his wife called him, and that's how he found out. And it was a tough thing. So yeah, big ups, because Pat McAfee has really, as far as he goes, coming into the WWE like he did, you know, and be able to, you know, step into the ring and build his character to a level, and then take it to the next step and become an announcer. And he's not only helped Michael Cole like Michael Cole has helped him, you know, elevate as far as a ring announcer, but he shows a different element than Michael Cole, and I think that's a great factor to the show.
Oh, I absolutely agree, man. It's been, bro, watching Cole and McAfee has been
refreshing, beautiful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro, it almost
amazing.
feels like it gives me the vibe of Taz at commentary without the dickhead.
Yeah,
the way he was, but it just gives that entertainment.
Because Taz made it feel like he personally did not like Michael Cole.
Yeah. And you can, I mean, like you knew behind the scenes they were good friends.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like you said, it made it feel real, made it feel authentic.
Absolutely.
But I'm not gonna lie, I love that. Excuse me, I thought I was gonna sneeze. I love that Indy is getting a chance to showcase their loudness. I like how they played into it tonight on SmackDown with having Tyler Halliburton there and him and Jalen. Shit, I ain't gonna lie, I jumped up out my seat with that.
Bro, it was funny because my girl even sat here and she was like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, I don't watch basketball. I was like, but Indiana obviously knocked out the Knicks.
So I will say this. I will say this. Basketball's playoffs this year was written beautifully, since we all keep feeding into sports is scripted. It was written beautifully.
No, you know what, man?
Other
from
than
all the highlights I was gathering, bro, it was a good playoff. I still didn't pay attention, but
I said this to my friend. I said the West in basketball feels like the West used to feel back in the early 2000s, late 90s. The West feels like the West again. We got to figure out the East, because the hell in the fuck we doing letting the Celtics get 18? I'm sorry.
Woo!
I mean, the Patriots.
Y'all better be lucky Jimmy Buckets got hurt. You better be lucky my boy Jimmy Buckets got hurt.
Hey, D, I ain't even gonna lie, bro. I'm not.
Congratulations.
Corey, to tell you, I'm far from a basketball fan, but Jimmy Butler's the shit.
And I'm not gonna lie, I can't shit on Corey's Orlando Magic. Shit, I thought they was gonna pull it out in Cleveland too. So I want to see what y'all do this year too.
Hey, while we're on the topic of basketball, since we probably won't dabble back into it, what do y'all think of LeBron and his son being on the same team?
I think it's cool, but get the fuck over it.
Hey,
I want,
like you said,
I'm
it
gonna put it like
perfectly.
this. I'm gonna put it like this. I want that much pull at my job.
Right.
You know what?
Cool.
Hey,
to be like, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna sign up for another year of teaching, but bring on my friends and give me a big ass signing bonus, and bring on this person to be the principal, and then I'll consider if I want to continue to play for your
the
org.
kids at G League. The G League get best player at best.
Right.
Look. So
he needed another 2 years of college.
I'm not a LeBron fan. I will say, as a father, knowing I'm having a boy, if one day I could have my child hired or my son hired to work with him for like maybe a year or something like that, teach him some shit, all right, cool. Yeah, he ain't nothing better than a G League player though.
But it's a
I'm
I'll
history
say
sorry.
it.
I'm
maker at the
sorry.
same
I wish
time.
I had some Shannon Sharp type one-liners for you, but like
Yeah,
I don't.
uh, Shannon Sharp wise, bro. I got the gift.
He gonna be like, it don't matter. It could be Kawhi Leonard. It could be Kendrick Lamar. Lakers in 5. Like he'll say something. Sir, you gonna need Lakers in 17. That's more like it, okay? Because
Yes. Hey, LeBron's
I
still
feel
trying to
bad.
get it
I
after
feel bad
17.
too to close up on that topic. Like I feel bad because I like JJ Redick a lot, and I hope like this don't ruin
Bro,
him.
I'm happy for him, but
Right.
I hope it's not the way the last couple have been with LeBron, because that would just. I like JJ Redick, bro. All the
And
bullshit
like
aside.
I'm not gonna lie. If he would have went to the Pistons, I would have been like, okay, because then you can give him time to build that team, build his culture, and it's not championship or bust. You
Yeah,
went
no, no,
somewhere
no.
where like
You go to LA. You go to the Lakers at any time, bro. I don't give a fuck who is on that roster. They've always had the championship or bust mentality. Now, speaking of how things are being written, Triple H announced earlier this week that Raw will be going to more of an uncensored feel to it, putting more of edge or the renewed focus on edgier content towards all ages. Now, Corey, I'm gonna start with you. I want you to go into detail about what this means.
So on Monday on the Pat McAfee show, he went ahead and said that on Netflix they are not gonna have to deal with any of the censoring from the networks or anything. WWE is going to, at least on Monday Night Raw, go ahead and get in that edgier content. With that edgier content, it's going to give them many avenues to work with starting in January. I saw a graphic going around talking about Monday Night Raw and different things that are going to be happening when it moves to Netflix. Uh, Netflix wants a lot of content on there, so um, I don't know where people are getting the idea that Raw is going back to 2 hours. It's been 3 hours for 15 years now. I don't think you changed the recipe. If anything, I see SmackDown going to 3 hours to match Monday Night Raw because USA is taking over SmackDown. And because they're taking over SmackDown, they're going to want more wrestling content that comes with it. So if I had to say, this is not a spoiler or nothing, but if I had to predict anything coming out of this, along with it being edgier for Monday Night Raw on Netflix, I think SmackDown might get moved to 3 hours as well.
So SmackDown is gonna stay Friday though, correct?
Correct.
And that's
Okay.
also a W. All of that, what you just said.
So here's my question when it comes to that. How long that contract is? What, 5 years?
Yes. The
All right.
SmackDown one, I believe, is 5. Netflix is 10.
Yeah, Netflix is 10 with it being an option for like an additional 5 or something like that. Or they have like a way to get out after 5.
Yeah.
But my question is, do you think SmackDown is still going to draw that type of audience to
Yeah.
where the USA will keep them, or do you think after that 5 years, SmackDown just joins Raw and they put together a whole thing, almost like Peacock does? Do we
On
get our own little
Netflix,
W?
are you talking about a complete network on Netflix?
Yeah.
Could I see Netflix jumping in the game and acquiring all of WWE's content? Yes, absolutely. But the guinea pig run for that is going to be how Monday Night Raw is taking into Netflix because Netflix really hasn't had any live content yet. So
Yeah, I was gonna say
the
they're still dabbling in it. I know that.
yeah, the trial run is basically gonna be Monday Night Raw and see how it does. Um,
Well, it
because
was
of that,
originally supposed to be the Jake Paul
it was
fight.
supposed to be the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight.
Well,
Yes.
maybe it's happening in November, so maybe it'll still be that trial run. They do have it rescheduled for November 15th, so and still on Netflix. Maybe we still get that trial run. We'll see. So I want your opinion, Trevor. What do you
So
think about this announcement?
so I I I think it's beautiful. I like how we've been getting the little Easter eggs and a lot of the little teasers every
Yeah,
Monday. I've been enjoying that. I hate that Fox is not what Fox used to be, where Fox you used to be able to say what the fuck you want to say. I hate that the FCC done changed the guidelines on
yeah. I
shit.
was gonna say let's talk about it real quick. Fox was bleeping out a lot of this shit tonight.
Like Logan Paul comes out and I'm like, God damn, like yeah, I think it was like a minute 32 minutes or whatever. But I'm like, God damn, can shit.
Bro,
I thought the Spectrum out app went out for a second. Damn.
Yeah,
bro, I
you
was doing the
literally
same
couldn't
thing.
watch SmackDown in peace on Fox. I was watching on a foreign network just to watch.
Like God, like I don't like why something that people love and take the time out their day and it's becoming a lot more edgier and a lot more, hey, we're gonna say some shit. Why you like hell? I would rather y'all mute it than take the shit off the TV. But to take the
I
shit completely off the screen, like
Yeah,
that is
so
what's pissing me off. It's like Fox is like, hey, can't wait for y'all to get the fuck up out of here.
so Corey, let me with this being topic for a sec, is there any information popping up that maybe you heard on why they're doing this?
On why they blacked out the screen.
Yeah,
I found out it's because Fox gets in trouble with the FCC. Um, the crowd was chanting "fuck you," and fans behind the entranceway were throwing up their middle fingers, and so they had to black out the screen, and it's stupid, stupid.
I mean, but here's my thing. You're were they're you talk about the fans above the screen.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that they were throwing middle fingers up? People yay big.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I wasn't
Yep.
even
And
looking that hard.
bro, yeah, I was gonna
If
say,
you
even if
got
you'd
an
have kept
80
it there,
inch,
I wouldn't
bro,
have caught
and the
it.
lights are out, you could see that shit, man. I'm just saying.
Look, I got ADHD like a motherfucker, but you know how much shit is going on in a bitch's entrance to be focused on a
Yeah,
picture and
I was
that.
gonna say, man, like with my ADHD, when everything's going on, I'm not
I'm
focusing
not.
on that.
I'm like, hey, wait, that bitch is doing that. He's doing
Look,
that.
there, and we've talked about this, bro. Even with going to the EDM shows, the DJ's towards the bottom of the screen. I'm not looking up at the top. If there's not fire, bro, I'm not looking.
Right. Well, for me, I'm gonna bounce off of, you know, what both of them said. To me, the edgier content we've seen, like Trevor said, the Easter eggs, in some of the segments and some of the matches and some of the promos, and then you go to social media and they're allowing them to be a little bit more free and kind of be extreme on social media with what they post and then with what Corey was talking about, with the what does it bring, and I like that more is better in this situation with where wrestling is right now for the WWE, especially with this huge contract. You really need to make a big splash with Netflix, and these first few years really need to pop off really well. So in the
I,
end, what we're looking at is more, and like Corey said, USA is not going to sit around and watch, Netflix gain so much and not try to at least capitalize off of some of it, because the product is what's going to bring the attention more so than anything else, wherever it's at.
So, hey,
Now, when it comes to how edgy the content can get over here compared to over there, that's one thing. It's a bunch of bureaucratic babies, and if you don't want to watch it, put your kids to bed, and that's the bottom line.
yeah,
And it should be what it is. But on the other hand, give me 6 hours minimum of SmackDown and Raw, and then your couple of hours of NXT, and you let these guys actually be a little bit more free with these stories. And we've discussed it, like you said in the past. This is going to be some really edgy content. Just pay attention to who's actually on the roster on Monday night. Man, I can't fucking wait.
yeah, absolutely. And edgier content. Speaking of that, we're getting some edgy vignettes lately. One of them being from the Wyatt Sicks this week. Bo Dallas cut one of the deepest, bro, and I'm fucking deep. Probably one of the deepest fucking promos I've seen since Bray's return. Corey, man, I gotta hear your thoughts first, man. What you think?
Fantastic. I absolutely love that they had him talking to himself, which I was not expecting. I mean, I've been given a few things of information when it comes to the new Wyatt Six group, but
Yeah,
I was not expecting that to happen. I saw Howdy talking, and then the camera turns and you see Bo Dallas pop up on the screen. I'm like, oh yeah, this right here, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. And what really got me was when Howdy asked him the question, how did it feel when your brother died? Just straight up ask him, how did it feel when your brother died?
bro, that that was crazy.
And he asked him that, and I'm like, bro, are they really going this direction with this shit? Like, what? Are you really bringing the reality, like the rumor said, the reality based stuff into the Wyatt Six? Because people said, oh, yeah, we don't want the supernatural stuff. Well, you're getting reality based content, and this one, along with the week prior with the Wyatt Six, they're doing fantastic so far with that group.
Hey, and you know what, man? I appreciate the VHS
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
old, the old, the old
that,
touch to it, yeah.
bro. Yeah, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I know damn well they didn't go and we went and found a cassette player. No, you didn't, bitch. You found a VCR. Call it what it is. But it was just like, bro, the vibe to it was great.
Oh
Like I don't think there's anything better for it. What were your thoughts, Trevor?
yeah. Listen, this man, these amazing superstars. I like. I've done said this, and I know they do it sometimes on YouTube and sometimes on social media. I need all this shit compacted into a motherfucking movie just to watch the shit straight through. Because, like, it's done got to the point where who the fuck cares about what movies coming out? Who the fuck cares what TV shows, new episodes coming out? Like, this is that. And then to get the performance aspect of it, to get that sports feeling, like, I'm not gonna lie, from the last 2 years compared to this year, I have not really, like, I miss football, but I haven't missed football because wrestling has been just.
Wrestling's been so great.
And then this promo, you want to talk about emotions and feelings, and then sitting there like this has been great.
Bro,
I love it. I'm ready for next week. Like
Hunter
wrestling
said it
has me
perfect.
excited talking about let's get to Monday. Wrestling has me excited saying let's get to Tuesday, let's get to Friday, let's get to the PLE. Like I'm excited to get to the shit now.
Well, and like Hunter said earlier this week, they're not really sports. They're a movie or theater about sports.
Right.
Letting it sink in, Derek. Letting it, seeing it all over. How you feeling about it?
Um, for me, you know, I got really overwhelmed seeing the biography, the little thing they did for him, and and like the way that the VHS came out, that was a really good touch. That was a really good touch. The authentic concept of what they've been looking for. Because if you go back to when we saw Bray Wyatt, he was in some you just pictured some swampy marshland in Louisiana in this old rickety shack with this rocking chair. So like that was the image. That's what the image gave me, and to be able to bring that and then add that VHS linked that all back to that same concept, which was very great storytelling. And then you get the tape in, and it's Uncle Howdy, and I'm expecting to see him talking the whole time, right? And then nothing. I'm not expecting necessarily, or not expecting, somebody to be there. But when the camera started panning, you automatically knew, like somebody's there. And
Yeah,
then when
bro.
they saw Bo Dallas, it was like, whoa, okay. And then like you said, like you brought up, and Corey said, the reality, part of this. Like if you go back and watch the show, the special that they did on Bray Wyatt, that's pretty much exactly what he said in the show. That is how he feels. That is like reality right there. And to
Well,
play
and
that as a part and listening to go back to what he also said with, they tried to forget about us, but we made them remember. And then, the last, they cut it out with Uncle Howdy coming on and saying, yes, we did, and wow, I cannot wait for what's coming. I personally have been watching wrestling since, as my granddad would say, knee high to a grasshopper. I'm 44 years old. That was probably top 5 promo in the last 2 weeks of a storyline I've ever seen.
yeah, and I mean, and adding on to it, man, they pan back and it's the Firefly Funhouse. It gave you every bit of emotion.
No doubt. No doubt. It
Now,
threw everybody back in that wasn't sure. Their ass is waiting on Monday right now.
Yes.
Just like the rest of us.
oh yeah, I'm already. You know what? I'm waiting. I know Corey said it's a busy weekend for wrestling, but is it forbidden? What's going on this weekend, Corey? Is it Forbidden Door?
Yeah, Forbidden Doors on Sunday.
That's
And
going
then
to be good.
next weekend's packed too. SmackDown, Money in the Bank, and NXT Heatwave Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday.
So, what's the top? What, in your opinion? We'll cover it. What's the top? What's one of the best matches on Forbidden Door that you're looking forward to?
Um, I want to see. They got Will Ospreay going against Swerve for the title. Um, I want to see how that plays out because you've had Will Ospreay come into your company as like a top guy, and he's undefeated right now. And you've got him going up against Swerve, who literally just won the title 2 months ago in St. Louis in April. So it's like, how are you gonna book this? You're gonna have a guy who is the future, or a guy who is the now right now win that match. I want to see how they're gonna book that. Of Mercedes.
Hey, you want to know my opinion on that, bro? They're gonna have somebody interfere in it,
I
and
was just gonna say
you'll never get
he
an ending to that.
All
You
that
think so?
is like we all know that's booking for a 5-star fucking match instead of booking for a fucking storyline.
He does it all the time though, so I don't fucking know at this point.
Oh, I know, I get it, bro. We were hitting these events like a motherfucker during the pandemic. When AEW took off, man, we were buckled up, bro. WWE was killing us.
Send that bitch ready to ride, boss, and then
Yeah,
malfunction on the ride, boss. It don't go,
bro,
boss.
we were ready. And lately, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. I've watched one. I still understood kind of what was going on because I follow you. But at the same time, it was like, all right, what the fuck?
I
That
keep
was,
up with AEW because of 4 wrestlers.
I tried. It's like watching the 2008 Detroit Lions. It's a dumpster fire that you have to look away.
yeah,
I mean, if they advertise a good match on the TV or I see it on social media or something like that, I might watch the show to see the good match. But I don't tune in on the regular at all. It's usually at minimum, it's a once a month thing at minimum.
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even get sad that I miss it because it's not even included in my Spectrum package.
Right. You got
I
saved.
don't even think it's in mine, to be honest. I don't think I got TNT or TBS.
I get TNT. I don't get TBS. And that
Uh,
pisses me off because that's the new episodes of American Dad.
And
yeah,
that's
I feel
literally
you
the
on that.
same. That's literally the same fucking company. So I don't know.
I'm being dead serious. I can get TNT, but I don't get TBS. It's wild.
That is wild. I'm gonna have to go look at my pack. I'm gonna have to look at mine now and see how it is. Because I'm gonna be like, wait, do I really have TNT? Because they got good stuff on. I just kind of
Like
refrained from
all
it during my
9,000
Wednesday.
of the Fast and the Furious movies.
Yeah, I refrained from that one. Kind of like I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this match when it kind of comes to fruition. I think we still got one more qualifying, but Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, Io Sky, and Selena Vega for the women's Money in the Bank. What are your thoughts?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This one, I got my coins in on 2 people in this one, Tiffany and Naomi. Those are my coins because I feel like that's still a storyline brewing. I would love Tiffany Stratton to win it. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. In the last triple threat that Naomi won, I was hoping for Blair Davenport a little bit. I was like, because you're
Yeah.
showcasing a young talent. I wouldn't be mad if Lyra won either. I want one of the younger talents to showcase. You brought them up, let them showcase it. Let them walk around as
Hopefully,
a threat.
I'm hoping for Tiffany. I'm gonna say that. I do hope because I
Tiffy
kind of
time.
feel like they should have been pushing her. I know they held her back because of whatever little controversy happened, and respectfully so. But it's time to let's get this girl and kick it off because I've read reports that when Charlotte comes back, she's okay with being in that mid card non title picture role. So maybe it is time for the younger talent, like you were talking about. Maybe Tiffany is the next Charlotte Flair.
I mean, for me, I'm looking, looking at all these women in this match, and Naomi, I always felt like I was personally never a big fan of hers. At the same time, my wife loved her, my girls loved her. She was talented. She was always with the Usos. Her athleticism is retarded. I'm not taking any credibility. I'm not a fan of her character. That's all. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Now that being said, I would not be shocked whatsoever if they gave her a push and she ended up winning this. Now, if you're putting Lyra Valkyrie in that with Chelsea Green, Eero Sky, and Selena Vega, who is overrated like a motherfucker in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I hate it because like she reminds me of Vicky Guerrero on the mic, but like think of one of the bimbos in the 90s and put her skills, a diva, think of any diva and put her wrestling skills on the mic with the Vicky Guerrero mouthpiece, and that's what you get with Selena Vega in my opinion.
You know what, bro? I will, and I'll do it this way. Since we're going that route, Melina with Vicky Guerrero's voice.
Yes.
That is the best way to describe her in my mind. She's got the skill set and the build of Melina, which is perfect.
That perfect example.
Yeah. That's great. Now, getting back to it,
somebody's been stuck watching movies.
Like Lyra Valkyrie. I really like what they're doing with her. They're really pushing her character. I think she goes along with the Irish thing that's going on in the WWE. It's picking up swing right now. But let me speak this really clear. I'm gonna bounce off of what Travis says. It's Tiffy time. I'm telling you, this girl's athleticism. She's a natural on the mic, and I think she is going to be a Charlotte Flair 2 3/4 3.0 because she's not quite that fucking good yet.
She's not that good, but you know what?
I mean, she's exactly level. Like Charlotte Flair, there's very few women in the WWE that are athletic like Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, but she's exactly what Charlotte was in the beginning.
And then Charlotte got that background and injuries, and now
granted she had that background coming from her dad, but you could tell she wasn't a natural in the ring. She was on the mic.
I'm sorry, when your corkscrew moonsault is in a vignette of every fucking commercial, you're a natural fucking okay. And granted, the first time she did it at WrestleMania in the triple threat, it was sloppy looking on the landing finish, but the air and the depth in the
it's fucking beautiful.
Tiffany is not on that level yet, but on the aspect of everything, she's there. That is your Charlotte. That's your Charlotte.
I would love to see them do a program.
Can I be real? I would like to see that storyline in a triple threat match. Now, hear me out. They all technically are going to run their generation. Give me Trish Stratus, Charlotte Flair, and Tiffany Stratton in a triple threat match. Who's the real blonde bitch?
Ooh.
And I don't mean bitch in the sense of disrespect.
No. I get where you're going with it.
I mean, I hope we have women fans, so I appreciate the correctness there, sir.
I don't mean it in disrespect, y'all.
No, but I get it. I get it.
But
I'd have said the same thing.
Also, I want to play with something a little bit because I feel like it's being teased and not talked about. Do we all remember when Chelsea Green, before she came back to WWE and before she started running the indie scenes, when she played a psychotic character? And I feel like all this Karen nonsense is leading back up to that, because when she was this psychotic character, she really couldn't be stopped in the ring.
You might be onto something.
That's why I'm mad Corey dropped out, because I kind of had that question for him.
Yeah, no. I know he was at work, so.
Oh, okay.
He said he was popping in for a little bit.
But realistically, I want to know if that's like if they're teasing it, because if they are and they're doing it so subtly and quietly, like I feel like only like us deep-rooted fans would know that. But I'm serious. If you like pay attention to her old character and how this Karen type-ish bougie bullshit is going, like it looks like it's building back up to that.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, you talk about storylines. You want to talk long storylines? You could be onto something. I'm with him because think about it. Remember, you got Nikki Cross, who come in as Sister Abigail, right? Now, as soon as she come out on that ring on last Monday, and they did that, they came out later that week. There were so many videos popping up on social media about how Nikki Cross was very catatonic and cuckoo for Cocoa
Bro,
Puffs. The last few weeks she was in
she
WWE
was
before
that
she went on the
way.
hiatus.
She was that way
When she
way
was
before.
Insanity.
Yeah, when she was that way in Insanity, she was that way. But I love the long term, but I love how she was able to fit in as that Sister Abigail.
Oh man,
Because
she is the perfect. She's better than
she
Alexa
was,
Bliss.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, we all expected Alexa. Everybody, and I get why maybe she doesn't want to do it because of Bray. I understand that if that's the case. Maybe she's behind helping Nikki. You got to believe it because they are good friends with
Oh
their
yeah.
time together. I like how they tied that together because they're former tag team champions. She turned on Nikki to be with the Fiend. Nikki goes with the family. I think that kind of fits better than what we all
Absolutely.
thought, and that's part of
That's
the
why they
rabbit
write the
hole.
stories and we're talking about it.
See,
But yes,
that's the
and
love
and
of
and they're
this whole
actually
storyline.
good. And they're
I mean,
They,
this is
yeah,
actually
that
good.
they. You look at the last 3 years with storylines and long-term storylines in the WWE. They have probably done some of the best that they've ever done in their whole history. I mean,
well,
all the way from the Bloodline feud. You've got um, the New Day deal. You've got the Judgment Day. You've got Rhea Ripley. For like a whole year and a half, everybody was paying attention to anything going on with Rhea Ripley. And you've got the Dom and the Rey Mysterio storyline is still fucking going. You
well,
know,
and
it's
you know
and
what,
it's
and
and it's gonna go until Dom retires Rey.
Good beat.
well, hold up,
Good
and
beat that.
let's get into two storylines that are kind of content. Well, three, because we got three within these next topics. One of them we're gonna hit two birds with one stone and talk about it, man, because LA Knight is one of these long-term storylines we're going to be talking about. He joins Chad Gable, Otis, Jimmy Uso, Carmelo Hayes, and Andrade in the men's Money in the Bank. Now, this time around, Chad Gable and Otis are not Alpha Academy friends. So, plot twist.
Let me start off by saying Otis and Carmelo Hayes are great people for the match, but ain't neither one of them going to win. Otis doesn't have enough pull with him right yet to win another Money in the Bank. And then Carmelo Hayes, I don't think they're looking that soon because as far as I'm concerned, either LA Knight, Chad Gable, Jay Uso, or even Andrade are way more culpable of winning that briefcase. And with those four, I honestly, you gotta say I'm yeeting to the fucking door, but yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're either gonna be yelling yeah, or we're gonna be yeeting when it comes to Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think
Now,
one of those two are definitely
Can
gonna win, in my
can
opinion.
I
I
be real quick, not to cut y'all off? This match could have been so much of just chanting. It could have been, yeah, yeet, thank you. Just the whole fucking match.
well,
Canada would have had a field day.
hey, and since we won't be doing we'll kind of cover it next Friday night before the paper or the PLE. But what if Otis ruins it for Chad Gable? And hear me out. Jacob Fatu ruins it for Jey Uso, bringing Jay back into this bloodline storyline. Because you know it's coming. You know Roman's coming back. You know Jimmy's coming back. Jay's getting pulled back into the bullshit. I'm
Speaking
hearing
of Jay,
Zilla.
did you
I'm
see what
hearing
they?
Zilla Fatu.
Did you
I'm
see
hearing
what
about
Rikishi
Zilla
said about Jey
Fatu.
Uso this week?
Huh?
Rikishi had a lot to say this week.
Well, that's the
I
thing.
did see that.
Like,
I don't know
it's,
exactly what he said, but I did see he had a lot to say.
He had two things to say. One, he was he put his opinion out there about them taking King of the Ring away from Jay, you know, because he deserved it at the time. But I think they did. I think they went the right way with King of the Ring. On the other hand, what I
yeah.
will say, he also spoke about Jimmy. Jimmy's expected soon. But what's going to happen is they're going to take him out of the bloodline. But I think he's going to be a big part of something coming really soon, and it's going to be to fuck the bloodline in some kind of way. And speaking of Zilla Fatu, I like Zilla Fatu on Team Roman Reigns.
Well, you're gonna have to even the odds. I don't see Sami Zayn being that person. I also still am not sold on Jacob Fatu with this bloodline because he was staring a hole in the back of Solo's head tonight. Maybe I'm reading too far into it.
I think it's
But
too
we'll
early
get
for that part.
yeah, and we'll get into
But
that here in a few
real
minutes.
quick,
But
what I wanted to say on this real quick before we move
yeah,
on.
I got LA Knight winning, by the way.
That's what I like about this opportunity of a match. You don't really know. It can swing either way, but I'm sorry. I'm as much as I want LA Knight to get it, I feel like you're gonna throw the US title on him at SummerSlam. Let Jay get this.
Well,
I'm tired of seeing Jay like not. I'm tired of being like this after a Jay Uso match for a title.
And hear me out. Hear me out on this. And maybe this is where long-term storytelling comes in. LA Knight wins. You know damn well he's gonna take that bitch, cash in on Logan Paul. He's hell bent on going after Logan Paul. Why not do it at
Like the
SummerSlam?
storyline between them two is already leading up for that to be a one-on-one match.
And it is. And maybe it is. And maybe you do throw it on Jay.
I mean,
but does he go after Damien? Does he go after Gunther?
I feel like because it'll be a year before we go back to it. If it's on Jay and you're gonna ride this new Bloodline versus Bloodline, you got to think you're gonna ride this Bloodline storyline to WrestleMania. Which, let's be real, if you push back Royal Rumble to February, we're pushing WrestleMania back at least till almost like
it's
almost
if I'm
Easter,
correct, it's like early. It's
Easter
like
type shit.
It's like end of April. If I'm it's April 20th and 21st this year.
So
or
like
19th and 20th.
So like already then okay, and then I'm pretty sure you're gonna bring this pay-per-view back around the same time. I mean, realistically, shit, you could finish the Bloodline storyline on night 2, but have him cash in on somebody late night 1 or late night 1 to have him walk in with a title at Mania for night 2 or shit.
Or
cash in on
hey,
the Rock or Roman at night 2, and we be like, damn, the end of the Bloodline with Jey Uso holding a title.
Let me throw in a correction. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody mentioned it. What we haven't mentioned the name Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
see,
you know what?
Now that makes you sit back in your chair.
Hang on. So hear me out. At that point,
we all expect what we expect.
Well, hang on. What we're gonna get is a Drew McIntyre and CM Punk title match at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre will beat CM Punk for the title. Jey Uso cashes in to beat Drew McIntyre. Ruins Drew McIntyre's WrestleMania moment again in front of fans.
See, that
Again.
sounds beautiful, but I don't think you put the title on Punk.
Oh, the title goes on Punk. It'll be towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
You put the title on Punk for a small period of time. And it could even, you know what, man? It could even be Elimination Chamber leading into WrestleMania. And he loses it the next pay-per-view, the next PLE, which should be WrestleMania.
Don't get me wrong. It wouldn't be bad, and it's not to the fans that are CM Punk fans. I love CM Punk. Don't get me wrong. I'm so sorry. If you're going to put a scrap on Punk, I feel like, and you're going to do this Drew McIntyre storyline, I feel like at some point we probably might need a break. Or if you're going to put a title on CM Punk, it needs to be CM Punk versus somebody new or Seth freaking Rollins.
It'll be an Elimination Chamber, so it'll be in a match with a variety of people. So it's not going to be like...
I get it.
It'll be, so it's not like he jumps in line type thing. So, like, I could respect that one.
Can I be honest with you here? If they give CM Punk a title shot...
Well, hang on. If they put that title on him, you don't have to put it on him long term.
Right.
We know Phil is fragile, and no disrespect to him. I'm a fan, but I'm going to call it as it is. He's fragile.
Yeah.
He's beat up. He can't be my champion. He can't do it night in and night out. And I can't ask him to do it. He took 10 years off. Came back, got hurt. Came back, got hurt.
He didn't just take 10 years off. He took 10 years off and got his ass whooped in the UFC.
No. He took 10 years off after he got his ass whooped in the UFC. Everybody forgets about that. He did the WWE and the UFC within a year span.
Yeah.
And then he took 10 years off and literally got his ass whooped. But since we're talking long-term storytelling and factions, let's kind of get into this one just briefly. We had talked about it. I want your opinion, Trevor. What were your thoughts when you seen Chad Gable and the Creed brothers together after Otis had told Chad that he was done?
I got happy. I got
Team Angle vibes.
I got Angle, Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas type vibes.
Yes,
yes, exactly.
Yes,
and then I'm sorry,
look.
I like how they're doing Chad Gable right now. This
is where you put the Intercontinental title on him.
They're giving early Kurt Angle, but like War Machine Kurt Angle. Like I feel like everybody's getting a fucking rollover suplex. Everybody's getting a fucking ankle lock. He's gonna break the scrap down, and we're not gonna get a thank you, but I don't know. But either way, I like it. I love it. It's beautiful. I just want to know if it's gonna is everybody turning heel? Not Niles too is.
Yeah, they all are. And Ivy Nile, I've been catching kind of that vibe with her with the facial expressions. I know. Yeah, she's still gonna be that person, but you can tell she's been trying to even get Maxine to get it to the next level. Or you know what? I could see it being with Max or with Ivy being, hey, now I see what he was talking about. But let's briefly get into this one. I got a prediction on this next faction. I'm predicting Liv Morgan is going to steal the entire Judgment Day from Rhea Ripley, but Before that happens, Damian Priest is walking away.
You're not wrong. I see that happening. I think this match Saturday is gonna determine that. I feel like even though he says for them not to come out, but because Liv probably teased it a little bit, they come out, they cost him. Rollins gets the title, then we get Rollins versus Gunther to put on a banger of a fucking match at SummerSlam. So there's that. But
I
I
like that one.
I
Hear
if
me.
I don't know if everybody's been looking at the story how I have recently. So
Uh-huh.
what has been the issue for the Judgment Day for like the last year? Mommy was the only one with a title, but I can't remember who said it, but they was like, no, shit. I think it was Becky said it, I believe, but they was like, Rhea, you're stretching yourself thin, and you're over here not worried about your title, and you're trying to make sure the Judgment Day do their job. But then it
Keeps
felt
their
like
title, yeah.
she was more focused on, but then it was like if you look at her competition, she really didn't have no competition. So it was like she was a dominant champion, but like her boys wasn't benefiting from her being a champion. Liv becomes champion. She's all about Dom Dom. And now we got tag team titles back that they've been trying to get back for what, feels like 6 months. But it's really been a few weeks since what, Mania.
Well, and
Um,
I like that you did it with JD McDonough and Finn Balor because
right.
that's a little tag team I need now.
And then you got, and low key, you got it where the whole team is carrying titles other than Dom. But let's be real, Dom is still recovering from shoulder injury, and we're all jealous of Dom because he has somebody to call mommy and he has somebody calling him daddy. And well, yeah, and an actual wife at home. Like that's jealousy.
Yeah, we're all living vicariously through both Buddy Murphy and Dom.
Hey,
Exactly.
shout out
Now,
to speaking of Buddy Murphy and Rhea Ripley. They just
shout out to
tied the
them
knot.
getting
Yeah,
married.
shout out to them for getting married. I gotta find a new, fictitious wife now because
Uh,
feelings are hurt.
now we're
Liv
gonna
Morgan.
kind of jump in. We're gonna jump into the subject kind of because I want to get into it on this to carry over my prediction. Seth Rollins and Damian Priest kind of put out a gentleman's challenge in their Money in the Bank match this weekend. Not only is it for the title, but if Seth loses, he can no longer challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship while Damian Priest is the champion. If Damian Priest loses, he has to leave the Judgment Day. Now, bouncing back to what you were talking about, Trevor,
Mm-hmm.
hear me out on this one.
Okay.
Damian Priest beat Seth Rollins. You know what? Damian Priest is going to beat Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank as a prediction. How I'm predicting, Judgment Day comes out, they get knocked out. Damian captures the gold, or wins the gold, because Seth dealt with, was being fucked with. You get you get Damian the next night on Raw telling him you weren't supposed to come out. I'm tired of this. I'm done. This sets
Yeah.
you up for a Finn Balor and Damian Priest, hopefully, match. Right before you go, Damian and Gunther at SummerSlam. Because I feel that one would be more of a banger.
I'm not wrong because you've been teasing the side eye, the side looks with Damien and him looking at Finn. So I
And
don't
maybe
oppose
we
that.
don't get a Finn and Damian match because Finn having a title with JD right now. So maybe we skip that.
I feel like you do got to tie that up though because like you've been dropping those hints. Granted, I don't feel like it has to be for a title. You can run those two for like a 2 month type. Like what would
That could be
typically be
post title run that could
right.
be a post title run storyline. I like because I'm even thinking in my head, you know, Finn and JD cost Damian the title at SummerSlam. Damian costs them the tag team titles, takes out JD, then we get a whole Finn and Damian build. Maybe you don't have Rhea and Dom around at this point in the Judgment Day. Maybe they already kind of started fading apart.
I would say so.
But then you get a Demon going against the Archer Infamy at that point, because I knew see that coming back.
I would say that is going to be a 5-star of a match. Because the last time we saw the Demon was against Roman Reigns and he lost. You at some point you got to let the Demon come back and get its dub.
No, the last time we seen the Demon was against the Fiend.
Oh, the Fiend. But still,
the Fiend put him to rest. The Fiend technically put him to rest.
Okay.
Technically.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Seth Rollins, right?
Okay.
The architect, Seth freaking Rollins, right? Mr. Monday Night Rollins. Okay. He is Mr. Over. I don't give a shit what you call him. We can all agree to that. He is Mr. Over. Now, he come back from his being smacked up on the backup by Roman Reigns and that little hiatus he went on. And what was the first thing he said? The only reason I'm here and my wife Becky, he didn't say it, but let's all understand, and my wife Becky's home alone with our kid is because I want that title.
Yeah.
You bring him into this situation where he gets challenged by Damian Priest, and then they throw in a week later this gentleman's agreement. I don't see Seth freaking Rollins losing this match. What I feel is you're in the right church with this storyline thing, but you're sitting in the wrong pew with the winner, because Seth Rollins is the one who walks away the winner, because in the match, I believe Judgment Day does cost him the match unintentionally or intentionally, and he does end up, because of obvious reasons, leaving the Judgment Day one way or the other, which could build up that feud that we're talking about that doesn't have a championship attached to it between him and Finn Balor between now and SummerSlam.
Right.
Okay. And I like that.
I'll first off, that was beautifully said, and I have no rebuttal on that. I think that's perfect.
Now, Trevor, you said something about a 5-star match.
The Archer versus the Demon, I'm sorry. Yes, they're gonna tell a great story, but that match would be a 5-star match in my eyes.
We got potential for 5-star before that happens.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Potential. How about Braun Breaker challenging Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title?
Yes, sir.
That could easily become a 5-star. That could easily be a 5-star.
You know,
now,
Sami Zayn at this point in his career is well enough to carry a superstar. And then you look at the superstar that's facing him in Braun Breaker. Go ahead.
Sami knows how to put over this talent.
Yeah. Speaking of, I got to plug real quick. Y'all keep a lookout for the Steiner Brothers documentary coming out. That's going to be a badass documentary. If you want to learn about Braun Breaker a little bit more and what he can be, go watch that documentary. But at the same time, I think this match can definitely, I think you book it, it's already a 3.75.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just by booking it.
Well, and let's kind of shift gears since we are running low on time. Do it. We have to. We got to acknowledge this new bloodline, man. They are ruthless.
Wow, we got to do that. Can we do before we do?
Chief.
Hold on, before we acknowledge the new bloodline, we got to acknowledge something bigger and better.
That's my acknowledgement right there.
Hold on, serious. Get on the serious note. Before we acknowledge this bloodline, let's acknowledge Sika. Roman Reigns lost his father, and big shout out to his family. Big shout out to all the Samoan dynasty. They all felt this. They were all family, and it's very important that they recognize them in honor and in a way. And I want to point that out before we go any more into the.
Absolutely.
So that's why I
Absolutely.
interrupted.
Nope. Good reasoning.
No, good shit.
We'll
But
acknowledge
yes,
that.
can we get back to what you were talking about?
But yes, this new bloodline right here, this is how I'm feeling.
We acknowledge them.
And,
What about you, Trevor?
we did, yeah, before we get into it any further, we didn't get a Roman Reigns return like we thought.
Right.
But we got the next best thing.
Wow.
We got Paul Heyman denying that Solo is his tribal chief. Paul
Yes,
then got
sir.
spiked. Paul then got splashed. Then got Shield powerbomb. Not by Solo, but by Jacob and the Gorillas of Destiny with Solo standing there. This has everything to do with my next topic real quick. And that is Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton taking on the Bloodlines, Solo Sikoa, the Gorillas of Destiny. And thinking about it, could it be Kevin Owens, or could it be them taking on Jacob Fatu and the Gorillas of Destiny? Because there's 4 guys there. And there's 3 in the other side that I mentioned. We either get Roman Reigns coming back with Paul Heyman there, or something's gonna happen. I want to know what you guys think.
So, I think Jacob's on the sidelines, just
Okay.
because it's Randy in a match, and Jacob looks like he's a little ruthless in the ring, and we don't want Randy back on the shelf.
But
So
that's what he's aiming for. That's
I
what I feel like Randy alluded to. Bloodline put him on the shelf.
I get it, but I'm not gonna lie. Last week when he attacked Randy and got him through the barricade, that didn't look okay. That looked
Yeah,
little,
he missed the mark. You could tell that one.
yeah. So for that much, that's why I say that. I love the idea of this match. I would like for Cody, KO, and Randy to win, which I'm pretty sure they will. But I would like Randy to finally RK both of them. I'm tired. Don't get me wrong. Randy's one of my top 2 favorites, but I'm tired of babyface Randy. I'm ready for Viper. Everything I need Randy where he's not talking. Everything is RKO. RKO.
I feel
Everybody in my way is getting an RKO.
I feel we're hitting at that after that match concludes. I like where your mind's at because we're seeing it. We talked about it. We're seeing the eyeballs. But I think this is where we get a Roman return. I think they're saving it, and I'm all right with it.
I get you, and I'm okay with it too, because then that opens up more story and then adds depth to the whole Cody Rhodes story too. So I'm vibing with it. I like it.
Well, here's my thought on it. First off, let's go back to what the topic and the question was, because it's a very big picture that we're having to paint when talking about this situation. And what we do, we have to talk big picture anyways because they work in big picture. So I've watched Paul Heyman a long time. I don't know if I've ever seen him get sent over like that, ever in his career.
Not since his early days.
ECW, not since ECW.
Right.
So that was really, as an old time fan, and a guy that knows the lineage a really long time. That was wow. That was very impactful. and let me be clear. I didn't watch the show, but I went on Twitter before our show, and I was catching up on all the clips of the main topics, so I could be very familiar with what we were talking about, and I was. And let me tell you, watching that was insane. But if you think for one damn second that, let me start right here by saying two things are going to be guaranteed happening from this whole feud. One, Cody Rhodes is going to get fucking RKO'd out of nowhere by Randy Orton when this is all said and done. I promise you, bank on it.
Yes, sir.
Number two, you can guarantee your, pulling it off the Rock's head, sweet Rudy Poo candy ass Roman Reigns will be in the WWE by Money in the Bank because of the loyalty that Paul Heyman showed. And you are not my tribal chief, and just refused to acknowledge Solo was beautifully done by him. It was a perfect way to have him break off. You seen it coming last week when he mentioned to CM Punk in front of them, in front of the world, that, hey, please take me with you for the love of God. You know, these guys are going to kill me. A week later, They killed him. So that was, look, did you know that somebody on Wikipedia already pronounced Paul Heyman dead today? Thoughts and prayers go out to his family. But no, seriously, he's not dead. But they killed him, dude. They killed Paul Heyman. And when Roman Reigns comes back, and I believe it's going to be a Money in the Bank, and I believe Roman Reigns is going to cost them the match, and I believe in the victory dance, RKO out of nowhere.
Okay. And real quick, before we hit this last topic and close out the show, I guess because we've been teaming with them lately, and I want to go ahead and give them a shout out, man. JTV Wrestling returns tomorrow night on their YouTube channel at 8 p.m.
Let's go.
You guys don't check it out, man. I'm gonna get back into watching it again. It's gonna be one of their. It's another pay-per-view, and I'm plugging them because they're teaming with us on this next topic. I know y'all watched the debate last night, heard about it today. It's been a topic everywhere. We kind of talked about it yesterday, man. I have this idea. Instead of getting political in the negative ways that everybody else does, let's come together on one thing. It's what we love doing. Trevor loves doing fantasy football. Derek, you love doing fantasy football. JTV, they love doing the fantasy wrestling. I love doing all of the above. So, July 5th, we are going to be airing the Presidential SmackDown. It's going to be sponsored by 88 and JTV. It is going to be, of course, the two presidential candidates, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And we are all four. And hopefully we can get Corey in on this, so it could be 5, but we're going to get 5 different matches of fantasy booking on what we would love to see with these presidential candidates. We're going to give it a twist because it's time that they quit talking and let's just settle the shit in the ring. So again,
now to speak on this, I'm not trying to tease the kind of match that I might create, but I will say I would rather this kind of be in an octagon, not gonna lie, but I'll settle. I mean, I kind of already got my match in play for.
Look, WWE's linked with TKO. Come on now.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about it, and I'm excited for it. I'm a toss up between 2 matches right now, but I think one is more fitting for the storyline.
You know, bouncing off of you, Trevor. Storyline. You look back, and these two really actually have a storyline, so you could really get creative with this. And as pre-show, we kind of bumped off the topic and kind of discussed what it was about, and my mind started rumbling, and and like one of the first things I went to was a hardcore match because they're both older men. It's not like you got a guy that's 42, a young buck coming in pushing the old guy out. These are two dinosaurs getting ready to set themselves out to pasture. And if you watched the show, if you watched the debate last night, or if you heard anything about it, I saw it on social media, and it was lost. Sorry, but yeah,
You sound like both of them.
I'm super excited about this. I think it's going to be pretty fun and pretty creative, and I can't wait.
Well,
that's all I got from last night's debate was just
yeah. I got something about I'm handicapped and let's go play golf.
as long as you carry your own bag.
Yeah, as long as you carry your own bag. But honestly, guys, that's all we got for tonight. Not a 2-hour show. I mean, had a little less topics, but things are picking up for us.
And
And
it was a good show.
it was. And everybody tune in because we got more of the plunder coming your way as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
And tomorrow, speaking of the plunder, let me go ahead and mention one more time. Tomorrow, I am going to be posting the details of the plunder's inaugural fantasy football league. The winner of said league, here's how it's going to go. If we have 12 players, we will have a 12-player league. The only way we'll have 2 separate leagues and run 2 leagues and then have winner versus winner to actually be the champion for the season. We must have at minimum 24. So that being said, we'll have a 12-man league. I will post the details on the specs, what kind of league it is, but it's going to be a fantasy football league. Anybody can participate. There will be prizes. The winner will get a plaque. And let me point this out with the prize. One of the prizes this year for the loser, and I thought it was a really freaking great idea. There was a Minnesota Vikings fan who lost the fantasy football league in his little group. Well, the punishment for him being the loser was he had to try out for the Skull marching band using the symbols. And go check it out. It's online. It was funny as hell. He actually did a really freaking good job.
yeah.
I mean, if you've ever watched it, you see a guy doing the symbols. He looks retarded because he's standing solo by himself, and he's like every 7 to 8, 12 seconds, he's like ding.
I'm gonna go check that out.
But it was pretty cool. He really did good, you know, because I remember my marching band days. That was a really good routine. But we're gonna have some fun with this. I just want to point that out.
Okay.
And yeah, we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna bounce off each other's brains, you know, here in the hierarchy of the plunder, and see what we can come up with to be really creative. But I can promise you this: I'm gonna guarantee a plaque plus more for the winner.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll be live again Monday night, following Monday Night Raw, recapping it, and man,
shout
it's
out
gonna
to
be
my
lit.
homies. Shout out to my homies. Shout out
Yes,
to y'all
sir.
too for having me back.
Absolutely.
Shout
Absolutely.
out to Paul Levesque for being in his bag.
They are cooking right now.
Yes, totally agree. Shout out to everybody and the hierarchy at WWE. They're doing a fantastic job. Shout out to you, Trevor. Really appreciate you having on the show. Hey, one day you'd like to come on and discuss a few topics on the Buccaneers. You're more than welcome on the show. Just hit me up, and I'd love to have you on. Love to see what your opinions and thoughts are. And once again, it is Friday. We look forward to having you on a Monday, and we will see you guys next week.
Yes, sir.
Shut up, bitch!